Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Run. Berto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. We have a very special guest that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But hey, what you think about the debate? Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. Michael Rudnin, AVQ, welcome aboard. Look, folks, we're going to have a good show. We're going to have Norman Solomon here. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get started, and then we'll get all this stuff put together. Title of the show today: Has the USA already collapsed? Has the USA already collapsed? Norman Solomon's message to progressives, to our Berniacs. And it's an important message that we have to be cognizant of, a very important message. Anyway, some believe the USA has already collapsed. Progressives activist Norman Solomon has a word for many on the left who resist voting for Donald Trump, or not Donald Trump, who resists voting for Bernie Sanders. The collapse of the United States of America has already started. Don't let anybody doubt otherwise. The collapse of the United States has already started. The question is, can we arrest it? You can go through a whole lot of things to figure out exactly why we're saying that, but we'll talk about that later on. Steve Schmidt has some advice for Joe Biden in the debate. Some people ask the question, why do we continuously work and continue to ask these Republicans to talk to Joe Biden or to come to the aid of Joe Biden? I tell you something. The reality is Republicans know Republicans, and they're much, much better fighters. They are much better fighters than we are. So the reality is, let's go ahead and say, okay, come on in and be a part of the program, my friends. Come on in and be a part of the program. Anyhow, so Norman Solomon will visit with us. Who is Norman Solomon? We'll talk about that shortly as I go ahead and try to bring up our new program here. Bear with me, guys, as I get a few things here queued up. Let's see, view on YouTube. Okay, I think I'm almost there now for us. Okay, am I there for us? I am not there for us yet, but we're trying to get busy with this. Anyhow, the phone lines are going to be open later, I think. I think I have that all queued up. It's going to be open later. Welcome, Lee Grant. How are you doing, Lee? Nice to see you here, Mr. Grant. Who else is here? Bridge MCP, AVQ. Great to see everybody here. I'm about to queue that last thing up, and then I'll be ready to fly high. I'll be ready to fly high. Ready to go. Okay, how do we start this thing? I want you to listen to this little piece here, and then we'll take it on the other side. Which one is it? Have we? Okay, let me cue this up. As it turns out, there are some of us who believe the collapse have already began, and according to this artist, he thinks it's already there. So let's go ahead and play this, and then we'll get it on the other side.
But I really wanted to get your reaction to something I read earlier today in The Bulwark by Jonathan Last. And he writes this: pretend it's 2014 and I come to you and say, hey, 6 years from now, Donald Trump's going to be president. He will have been impeached for trying to blackmail a U.S. ally into trashing the guy he's running against for re-election. White nationalists will be stalking city streets wearing masks and carrying rifles. The economy will be in shambles. More than 200,000 Americans will be dead from a pandemic that hit us harder than any other country in the world. And Trump will be openly refusing to commit to a peaceful transfer of power post-election. You would say, WTF. And then I say to 2014 you, oh, the election will actually be pretty close with more than 40% of the country supporting President Trump, at which point you would say, I don't believe it. David, from the point of this larger piece by Jonathan Last was, we're not heading to collapse, that maybe we're already here and we don't realize it. Look at how numb we are from just the last 6 years.
Back when the United States was unsuccessfully trying to build democracy in Iraq, we used to say we thought were elections. The Iraqis thought they were censuses, and that's a little bit what is going on here. As the United States has become a more diverse country, politics in some ways has mattered less. Tribalism has mattered more. I think the fortunate thing for American democracy is that the tribes that are committed to democracy do outnumber the tribes that are less comfortable with democracy. And so we may pull this one out. But you're right. There's a lot to worry about. The fact that Donald Trump could be president at all is a massive sign of distress in any society.
That is actually very important. That last statement that he made, the fact that Donald Trump could be president of the United States, something that nobody really thought was possible. Of course, many of us near the end of the election, when we saw the numbers, we started to say, oh my God, this might happen. Hillary, please, please go to Pittsburgh. Hillary, please, please go to Milwaukee and go to Detroit, because those are where the numbers were. But anyhow, as the authors, I mean, we have the fact that we are so numb to over 206,000 Americans being dead. The fact that we are numb to many Americans who are starving right now, many Americans who are being evicted right now, as we are locked in, I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in this country, how can we possibly be so numb to all of this? How can, in other countries, when people make this, I guess the thing that I want to say is the delta. It's not where you fall, it's where you have fallen from. And where we as Americans have fallen from, they talk about the new K expansion of the United States. In other words, this pandemic has created a K-type recovery. In other words, that little stalk of the K going up, and then a long stalk of the K going down, right? That is a problem. The stalk of the K going down, there are enough people on that stalk going up that they just forget about those people that are going down, which is a majority of Americans. How did we ever get here? How did we get so numb? How were we able to see a president in power do so little to help, and at the same time have a possibility of winning? Let me just say, I know there's no possibility of him winning if we do what we're supposed to do. But the fact of there are people that are in dire straits, people in West Virginia, people that are down on their luck, many people that are just in bad shape, that because of the indoctrination they've received, that somehow they think this is their savior. Somehow they think this guy is there for them. I went on a blog post yesterday on Facebook, and there is this woman that was in panic after the tax relief came out. So she wanted to get on to her people right away on her Facebook page. And what she said is, hey, remember, if for all of those of you who see that Trump didn't pay any taxes and are mad at Trump for doing that, remember, those are the laws that Biden passed. So Trump is just taking advantage of the laws that Biden passed. In other words, that the evil that Trump is doing, it's Biden's fault too. I mean, and she was there. They were making excuses. I went onto the page and I said, I humbly want to ask. I want to ask in a respectful manner, in a civil manner. Please answer me. Do you really think this guy really cares about you? Do you really think this guy is ready to present policies that's going to help your life? What has he done for you? And the truth of the matter is nobody could answer that. One person said, go to his website. And again, there is something yet that we have to understand with many of these people. As you know, I wrote this book, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Neighbors, Friends, Families, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I did there is I said, I want to understand the psyche. I understand the psyche of those that are voting this way for economic reasons. Hey, I'm doing fine. I don't care if the policies that are allowing me to do fine screws everybody else. I don't care that by him creating that huge tax cut now, it means we can't have college and all these other things for other people. Hell, I got mine. That is how a lot of people think, right? So I understand those particular people. Even the Christians, I understand when the evangelicals, when they say, well, we are going to forget who he is because he is going to bring us the Supreme Court justices that we need. Okay? So there is a distinct purpose that the wealthy guy and that evangelical has. Now, we think that makes that evangelical person a hypocrite. We know it makes that evangelical person less than a Christian, but in their minds, that particular policy they want is superior to anything else. So I can see a rationale there. Where I don't see the rationale is that person that is not a white supremacist, that person that is not an evangelical who wants him for those judges and other particular religious giveaways, or that person who is getting wealth from him. The ones I don't get, and I meet many of these, and these are the only ones that I am always unable, and I think I mentioned that in my book as well. I don't have a good track record in getting through to them. The ones that are just there to say Trump, MAGA, and that sort of thing. That's the ones that needs more study. In other words, I understand the rest. And by the way, each one of the others I've been able to have civil conversation with, and even have some of them say, I see. Maybe I need to change things in my life. I've had evangelicals say that. I've had wealthy people say that who were Trumpians because of their wealth. And I've had people who otherwise, who are white supremacists says, well, he is there to protect, to make sure. And I've had people tell me that America is a white country, and I want somebody who's going to protect that identity. I've heard that. What I have not heard, and this is the one, is from that person that I know honestly is not that white supremacist, that person that's not evangelical, that person that is not any of these bad things, but they still have an attraction to this guy. And I have not yet figured out the psyche behind that. Maybe somebody can give me some suggestions on that. I don't even think, I don't believe in psychologists, psychiatrists, or any of these guys. But I don't, I guess it's sort of like that person that always gets conned, right? There are some people that are susceptible to cons. That's why I guess the snake oil salesperson was successful, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, Steve Schmidt has some advice for El Señor Biden. And his advice, listen to what he has to say, because the advice that he has for Joe Biden, I think is spot on. It's amazing that it has to be a Republican, maybe, that is telling Biden how to kind of like fight. But here it goes.
If you were in his ear, given all we learned from 2016, what advice would you be giving him?
Here's what I'd say to him, Katie, and good afternoon. For the first time in 4 years, an American's going to have the opportunity to go stand on a stage as a peer with Donald Trump and have the ability to hold him to account. Hold him to account for the 27,000 lies he's told the country, including the most lethal lie in American history, which was around COVID and its lethality. It's the reason the United States is the epicenter of COVID death and suffering in the world, why our economy is shattered, why our kids' education profoundly disrupted, and why so much of the American way of life has been disrupted. He can hold them to account for the fact that all the rest of us pay our fair share. Phil Gramm, the Republican senator from Texas, used to talk about America, the America that pulls the wagon and the America that rides in the wagon. Donald Trump's been riding in our wagon for a very, very long time. Outrageous. You want to understand why people have so much cynicism in this country, so much disgust? Because a guy like this pays $750 a year in taxes. It's disgraceful. And so Joe Biden should stand up there tonight knowing that he has tens and tens of millions of Americans behind him who want to see a return to decency in this country, want to see a return to honest government, want to see a return to competent government. And I hope he'll turn to him and say, you're the worst president in the history of this country. You've debased and disgraced your office, and we're going to talk about all that for the next 90 minutes. I would say you lied to the American people 27,000 times over the last 4 years. And one of those lies is responsible for at least 150,000 dead Americans if we had the same mortality rate as we did in Germany, for example. A lot of the world is getting back to life, not in this country. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. And James is exactly right. Donald Trump has hurt every person in this country, including the people that have voted for him and will vote for him again, including all the members of his cult of personality. The cult leader always hurts the people that are in the cult the most. And so what Joe Biden has to do tonight is to stand there, look him in the eye, and hold him to account. He's lied to this country literally almost 30,000 times. Look at the damage that Donald Trump has done to this country. Look at the precipitous decline. Look at the stoking of racial animus. He called our fighting men and women suckers and losers, and everybody knows that he said that. There's no plausible denial for these things. We know that Trump says what he says behind closed doors because we've heard him say it from behind the presidential seal. So Joe Biden's a good man. He knows what to do. He understands the magnitude of the crisis in this country. He needs to step up and lead. He frankly doesn't need a lot of advisors whispering in his ear. He doesn't need clever one-liners. He needs to stand up and he needs to talk to the American people. He knows the American people. He is of the American people. He is attached deeply to the middle class of the country, and he's attached to the goodness of the country. Let's see some of that tonight, and it's going to all be fine.
Exactly. In other words, just tell Americans what you're going to do for them, and after that, it'll be all okay. John Cotter, I wish I could say, first of all, I agree with that it's a waste of time because, again, all we're going to have from Donald Trump are lies, and all of that kind of stuff. I've got to watch it. First of all, I got to be able to report on it, and I have to be able to see what the little caveats are going to be. But here's the other thing. The other thing is that a lot of Americans are going to be watching it, especially those that are supporting Donald Trump. And, God knows we have to be ready for them. Bruce, I'm not sure what you mean by, where I saw that message from Bruce. I want to scroll back to, para ver qué me dijo Bruce. Bruce, you had an interesting message here that I wanted to answer, or not answer, but ask about what you meant. What do you mean? I can't find a message right now, but what did you mean by you have some of them here? So Bruce, expand on that for me. And then Bruce says it may be that back to normal rush had more damage than COVID had to. Look, we'll talk about that after. Let me go ahead and do this beforehand. Let's go ahead and listen to Norman Solomon, because Norman Solomon has a message to progressives. Norman Solomon has a message to former Bernie supporters that I think everybody needs to hear. And I posted it. I posted the article that this interview is based on this morning because I woke up this morning and I saw I was up this morning. It was last night on to like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I saw this article by Norman Solomon and I'm like, wait a minute. What is he saying here? Look at the title of this article. Wow, I love that. That is what I should have learned to say. And then my next feeling was, why the hell did it take so long, Norman Solomon? Why the hell did it take so long? What's his name? But, I wanted to know why. But you know what? So I dropped a line. I sent a line to him, and I got a message this morning say, yeah, we can do the interview. So I want you guys to listen to the interview, and we'll then take it from there afterwards. Welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. I'm here with somebody most of you should know by now, Norman Solomon, American journalist, media critic, anti-war activist, real progressive. And you've run for a whole lot of other stuff. Norman, welcome to Politics Done Right.
Thank you, Egberto.
Let me ask you, first of all, tell our audience, because not everybody is familiar with you. You're one of our progressive stalwarts, if you will. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I've been an activist for 50 years now, and writer and journalist, and worked with a lot of groups to try to move forward a genuine progressive agenda for healthcare, education, housing, civil rights, human rights, and of course, preventing the use of war when we have so many much better alternatives. And I founded the Institute for Public Accuracy about 20 years ago. And 10 years ago, with my colleague Jeff Cohen, who founded the Media Watch Group FAIR, we founded rootsaction.org. And I guess, Berto, the most relevant to our discussion might be that Roots Action a few months ago began the launch that occurred in August of votetrumpout.org, which is really active in swing states.
Well, that is great. And actually, I think it's with all these activities that are going on in these swing states right now, it's bearing fruit, because I am very surprised at how the poll numbers look right now in not only the battleground states, but some that weren't considered battlegrounds, places like here in Texas, etc. But before I get into that, by the way, fear.org, excellent, excellent website that folks you need to go to. I use a lot of their material because I tell you, you get another side of the news that those of us that are progressives, independent, media minded, we like to see. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is a piece that you wrote for, I think you wrote it. It appeared in LA Progressive. I don't know where it appeared originally, but I read it in LA Progressive, and it was titled, "We've Got Reasons to Elect Joe. He Isn't One of Them." And when I read that title, what came to mind was, what narrative? I was a Berniac delegate. I'm a Bernie delegate back in 2016. You know what progressive stand for. You know the policies that we want. It was difficult to jump on the Biden bandwagon for a better cause. While I could do it, there are many who simply, I couldn't find the narrative to get them to do it. And the email came and I saw the title. And as soon as I saw the title, it hit me. And I'm like, that is it. Why the hell did it take so long? Please tell me about it.
Well, like you, I was a very strong Bernie supporter and convention delegate, and it's hard to lose. And it's hard to lose to corporate Democrats who are trying to do the same old, same old. At the same time, we're in a crisis situation. You know, I think of if you're in a building and it's caught on fire, you've got to grab whatever you can to smash the glass, to pull the alarm, to get the firefighters in there. And Joe Biden's the big hunk of wood that's the only thing available to smash that glass. And of course, there are about 38 states where it's predetermined. There's no doubt who's going to get the electoral votes, but there are a dozen swing states. And at rootsaction.org and the project votetrumpout.org, we're focused entirely on those swing states. And as you mentioned, Texas is now one of them, which is great. And Georgia and Iowa are among them as well. And then we have the ones that we've become more accustomed to, Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Minnesota, and then the ones that unfortunately, along with Pennsylvania, made the difference 4 years ago, Michigan and Wisconsin. And we're also active in Arizona, which is key, and Nevada. So we've got these states. This is where the decision will be made whether we live under this slide further into neo-fascism. And as an activist and a writer, it dawned on me a number of months ago that we need to speak, in a sense, differently to those who live in the swing states. There's no point in telling somebody who lives, for instance, in New York or California, oh, you got to vote for Joe Biden, because you don't. There's no need to do that. But the flip side of that is if people are in a swing state, whatever reservations or nausea they might feel about Joe Biden, and I feel very, very critical of him, to put it mildly, he is the only tool, so to speak, available to stop another 4 years of Trump.
You know, and that is what's so important, Norman. And I think for me, it is, where is the message coming from? I mean, if that message came from the Democratic Party proper, it'll have no value. But coming from a Norman Solomon, coming from a Cornel West, or coming from all these other folks that have progressive bona fides, I think that is where it's important. And and again, like I said, I wrote on my Facebook page today, why did it take so long? So let me ask you point blank, why? And maybe I'm wrong. Did this article just come out recently, or had you put it out before, or what?
Yes, it simultaneously ran at LA Progressive and Common Dreams and elsewhere. I think that there has been a strong feeling among many progressives that we have to create a united front to stop Trump. But as you alluded to a couple of minutes ago, it's really a bitter pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
I know I wrote at least a dozen articles denouncing Joe Biden because of his record on criminal justice, because of his record bonding with segregationists, because of his pro-war terrible record in helping to launch the invasion of Iraq, and on and on. So like so many people, it's a tough turn to make, but we have to be real about this. If we simply, so to speak, cut off our nose to spite their face, we end up with a white supremacist for another 4 years, somebody who's a pathological liar, somebody who's a xenophobe and a misogynist, and people can fill in a lot of other blanks. This is in real time the creation of history. And I have to say, and I imagine you have probably encountered this too online, there are some folks who think that activism begins and ends with expressing one's personal conscience. If we're talking about conscience, there are millions of people in this country who will suffer a great deal more if there's another 4 years of Trump. And so it's not conscience to throw them under the bus. It's actually more narcissism, I believe, to say, I want to get into the equivalent of progressive heaven. I want to be able to say that I didn't vote for somebody who I find abhorrent. Well, there's abhorrent and abhorrent. And I think we find that there are, unfortunately, shades of evil, if you will. And we have a reality that Donald Trump is over the top evil. And let's get real about that and let's stop him.
Norman, you don't know, again, like I said, also message coming from you, don't know what that means to this space. Because again, a lot of people in our space need that rationale. They need that permission to say, and I don't mean it in any sort of a hierarchical manner or anything like that. I mean that they, we all have these, as progressives, we all know what we want. We all know what most Americans want, which is what we want. We know that the Powell Manifesto and all these different papers have really played with the minds of Americans, and we have a lot of work to do. But the staunch progressives, it is so hard for them to make that turn, and seeing their leaders in writing, their leaders in activism, their leaders everywhere else come out and say it is okay. I think that's what's important. And that article that in LA Progressive will in fact make it okay to some of the staunchest people that are saying, I am just either staying home or I'm going third party, as opposed to saying what we really need is not, to put it bluntly, I may differ with you a bit in that even in California, what I want is such a repudiation of Donald Trump that came from all corners of the country, which I've been already promoting that what I think is going to be a landslide. I want such a repudiation of this guy that nobody else feels that they can use, because a lot of other people, Solomon, are going to look at Donald Trump and they're going to say, well, if I am Donald Trump with just a better demeanor, and that's what I want to run. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, definitely repudiation every which way is great. I think in terms of resources and messaging, it's of course where the swing states is where it's at. Unfortunately, in 2000 and again in 2016, we found that with the administration that follows, the popular vote served basically no restraining function. And that's wrong. It was outrageous when Hillary Clinton got more of the popular votes, and yet Trump got in unrestrained. And likewise in 2000 when George W. Bush got in, when he was at the low end of the popular vote. I think that now we have this tremendous challenge, as you referred to hear voices and the very logical thinking of people who have been, as Dr. King said, drum majors for peace and social justice for one decade after another after another. On the votetrumpout.org website, we feature a 2-minute video with Noam Chomsky. And anybody who accuses Noam Chomsky of being some sort of sellout is just in outer space in terms of rationality. Chomsky has, of course, a 6-decade record of speaking the hard truths about US imperialism and racism and social and economic injustice. And in this video at votetrumpout.org, Noam Chomsky is emphatic. It is essential. It's a message to people in swing states. It is essential to vote Trump out. And that means that no matter how we feel about Biden, he says it doesn't matter what your personal feeling is. Really, nobody cares about that. The point is that Biden is the only way to
Right.
get this guy out of the White House so that then we have some space where we can push Biden. And let's face it, after 3.5+ years, we know that Trump is not pushable. No matter how much there are righteous demonstrations and organizing and so forth, Trump is absolutely committed to a far-right, white supremacist, nativist, xenophobic, misogynist, as I said, agenda. So that leaves us with the practicalities. What the hell are we going to do? We just have a few weeks left for voting, and we've got to get it done now.
Absolutely so, Norman. Norman, why don't you, to give some hope to those that we are urging to vote for Biden, what Biden is elected, what is our pathway thereafter? Because they need to know that we're not talking about Biden getting elected and then we go right back into neoliberalism. It's Biden elected, and what do we do after that?
Absolutely. That's a crucial point. That's why at votetrumpout.org and in our campaign in all of the swing states, we're emphasizing vote Trump out and challenge Biden from day one. Biden has to be pushed. We've got to organize against his, as you alluded to, neoliberal policies and the trajectory that he's been on in the past. There is a constituency, and I think that sometimes actually routinely this gets lost in the media coverage and the discourse. It's not just Trump and Biden, it's the constituencies that they represent. If you look at the politics and the people who were at the two respective Republican and Democratic conventions, you see the forces of hatred and violence and racism and hostility to a woman's right to choose and hostility to rational discussion of the threat of climate and so much more. At the Republican Party, you see that is the worst set of sectors of the US population. They are empowered by a Trump presidency. When you look at the Democratic Party constituencies, we can get it on, we can organize, and we are the base of the party, and we become potentially empowered. Now that means we've got to organize like crazy. And I think that's a lesson that was learned. It wasn't learned under Bill Clinton. It wasn't learned under Barack Obama, but the left has really matured and gained muscle in the last several years. We've gotten wiser. That's how we, even under Obama, we developed the Occupy movement and so forth.
Right.
We are ready to jump on this guy and challenge him. And you know, it's about Main Street, it's not Wall Street and all the rest of it. We have an agenda. We're going to fight for it. We can't move Trump if he's in the White House, but we can move Biden if we organize. And that's what we got to do.
Now, I have one last question before I ask you to, and I want you to think about this as you answer this. I always ask people to tell me something that I should have asked that I didn't. But before I go there, I'd like you, I have always thought that, even myself, we hadn't pushed President Obama. We hadn't taken advantage of the Obama for America. Somehow that kind of got dissolved until 2012 when it sort of came back just to get the reelection. When I really thought Obama for America presented that perfect, wide base grassroots movement that could have grown into a real movement that I thought personally was sort of frozen out by the people who he brought on board. Your thoughts?
Obama merged Obama for America into the Democratic National Committee and made it his personal apparatus. And, you know, with all the good things that Obama did, also the gist was a transition into Obama for Obama. I hate to say that, but it's true. And it's not about one person. It's not about their particular eloquence or anything else. You know, I like to say, and unfortunately this is true, Republicans have given faith a bad name. And Democrats, and Obama personifies this, have given hope a bad name. We can't accept that anymore. And we have to say that this is not about any one individual. You know, Bernie Sanders, who we love, has said that. And we take him at his word. It was never about Bernie. It's about us. It's not him, us. And we've got to get moving in a stronger way to not only articulate, but organize, which is really what it's all about.
All right, Norman, what should I have asked you that I didn't ask you? And what do you want to go ahead and tell our audience?
Well, I really appreciate all the questions you did ask me. One aspect which is perhaps a little bit less tangible but important, which is what people who are progressives have gone through emotionally in the last months and years. Where we talk about analytical approaches to politics, and we uh, advocate very strongly for what we believe in. But what is it like in the more internal aspects? Because we don't just function as thinking machines. We are, of course, human beings. And um, that's a question, in a sense, maybe I'm lucky you didn't ask, because it's tough to answer. And many people are frightened and discouraged and feel somewhat disempowered. COVID-19 has made it worse. I know people who lived under the Pinochet dictatorship in Chile and found it very fragmenting for the left, to put it mildly. And so the question of how do we cope and endure as progressives in hard times, in oppressive times, in an era when it's so difficult to generate hope grounded in tangible reality and strategies, that's where we are. And I think of something that Dietrich Bonhoeffer said around the time he was imprisoned by Hitler, the great Protestant theologian. He said, to withstand the oppression of the government, you need community. And so, to the extent I have an answer, it's that we need each other, because this is a marathon, and we've got to keep going. And we can only do that if we help each other along the way.
Perfect place to close. Norman Solomon, activist extraordinaire, thank you so kindly for having an appearance here on Politics Done Right.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed that interview. Let me tell you, it is important that we understand a lot of what he had to say. But anyhow, before we continue, I have to do my little pitch here real quickly. For those of you who are on YouTube, please go ahead and consider joining. Hey, tonight I'm going to be on after the debate. Why am I going to be on after the debate? Because you guys own this show, and I was asked to do a live thing after the debate. So guess what? You guys win. We will be on after the debate. I'll run a live session again after the debate. I'll have the phone lines open if you want to say something. So whatever time the debate is over, we'll be open. Those of you that are on YouTube, please click join, become a member. It's cheap, and you make sure that we can go ahead and continue what we're doing right here. For those of you who are on Facebook right now and also want to go ahead and join our YouTube family, just go ahead and click that link that I just put in the feed, which is politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. If you click on that, you can go ahead and click the join button to become a member. We need those are our little $1.99 membership deals. We need about 1,000 of those guys. So if you guys can go on there and click on that, click that thing and click on the join, we'll be very happy with you. But alternatively, we need Patreons. Patreons are an alternative to the YouTube membership. Here's the link, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. We have a lot of features that we give with that, a lot of features that we provide with that as well. Please consider visiting our store. What can you get at our store? You can get much at our store. You can get any one of our books. My new book is actually, let me do this first. It's Worth It: How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. I mean, I think you'll love the book. Likewise, we have my other book there. It's called As I See It: Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, as well as Lose Weight and Be Fit. Now, guys, I had my weight problem. So you can get that either at our store, which I just placed in your politicsdoneright.com/store, or you can go directly to Amazon and just there's a link directly to that book. But if you want the other books, you can just click on the author, Egberto Willies, and you can get all of those. So please consider being a part of the family. Either join us on YouTube. Hey, Dimitri OG, thank you. Eres el hombre. Muchas gracias, hermano. Dimitri just gave us a super chat. Dimitri OG, thank you so kindly for that super chat. Anybody else can go ahead and either join the super chat or become a... Yeah, that's a super chat. I don't think that's a membership. Or you can click join to become a member. Anyhow, let me go ahead and start. Hey, Norman Reynolds, you are here. Thanks for the interview. Paraphrasing from Cost, the question for the right is white supremacy worth democracy and hate? And you know, that is what I've learned in talking to a lot of people. White supremacy is a thing of fear. I kind of describe that in the book as well. Egberto Willies, where will you hold after the debate show? Right here, same place. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and just requeue or not requeue, but I'll go ahead and set up a new link. So you'll just go to our page at politicsdoneright.com, or rather, you can either go to our Politics Done Right Facebook page, or you can go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Egberto Willies, or just go to politicsdoneright.com. I'll have it set up where we can, wherever you want to see us, you'll be able to see us, Bridge MCP. So, and I'll have the phone lines open. I hope people call in so that you can tell me your thoughts on the debate, all that good stuff. Okay, let's see. Anyway, who was I talking to? YouTube or FB? Both of them. Will be both on YouTube and FB. This one isn't going to be the thing for members only. Eventually, I'm going to start having some members only show just to have an added value for those people who become members by clicking the YouTube join button. So, hey, guys, go there because we're going to have una familia que vamos a hacer cosas juntas, things that we're going to do together, brothers and sisters. Okay, who else is here? I tell you what, let me salute everybody. Okay, Norman, you got to give me a call. Anyway, we have Bridge MCP. Welcome aboard. Dimitri OG, welcome aboard, and thank you for that super chat. We have AVQ. We have para ver. Tank 28, Tank 28 was just spamming our chat today, folks. But you know what? We love Tank 28 because Tank 28, I want to say something here. This is important because I saw this fallacy on Facebook today, and I want everybody to listen to this. This is very important. There is a meme going around. There is a narrative going around that Biden is on his last. He's probably weak, feeble, and all this kind of stuff. He's not strong. He can't stay awake. All those things they have about Biden, right? There is this thing called projection. I don't think you have ever seen Biden go down a stairs needing help or not being able to watch his steps as we see Donald Trump. I don't see you have ever seen Biden leave a plane holding the rails the way Donald Trump has to be very careful holding the rails. Is there anything wrong with that? No, it's not. The reason I bring that up is a projection against Biden is that somehow Biden is physically deficient. Biden is actually in pretty damn good health. Biden can run a mile without a problem, full speed. Donald Trump can't. Donald Trump is an obese, overweight, that who knows? Again, he's just an obese, overweight, unhealthy guy. So people go out there and then they try to project that onto Biden. They talk about Biden taking drugs. The projection is Donald Trump must be taking drugs. The other day, my mother asked me, she said, Egberto, but it looks like Trump has a lot of energy. And I told her, yeah, when he's on his drugs. Watch when he's not on his drugs and he's coming down the stairs from the plane. Why did I say that? Because I really meant that, and not only that, because he constantly brings those things up about Biden. Oh, he's had a facelift. Well, Donald Trump probably had a facelift. He's on drugs. Well, Donald Trump is probably on drugs. All these things that Donald Trump has a tendency to say is generally projection. So all my brothers and sisters on the other side, understand that. You're going to be surprised tonight. You're going to be surprised not because Biden is going to look any younger or anything like that, but he's not going to be the caricature that the right has made of him. So what did Donald Trump have to do to protect himself against the caricature? He had to say, he's going to look good today. He's going to be on drugs. And why is he saying that? Because Donald Trump knows that the reason he can look a step up every so often is because there's a good likelihood he's on drug. An overweight guy like that who late at night had an episode where he had to go to the doctor and nobody knows why, tells the story. Projection, projection, projection. Moving on, Nanette Bird Smith, welcome aboard. Tank 28 again, welcome aboard. British MCP, Nanette Bird Smith, welcome. Oh, I repeated Nanette Bird. Sorry about that, Nanette. Dimitri OG, Norman Reynolds, AVQ. Who else is here? I don't want to miss Bruce Pollard. Let's see. I don't like to miss my people. Masticator, welcome aboard. I haven't read anything you wrote yet, Masticator. I'm scared to do it. Let's see who else is here. John Cotter. John Carter is the president of Humble Area Democrats. This guy is a hard worker, and they are surrounded by a hell of a team that's going to help bring Harris County even bluer than it has been, probably the whole damn county this time. Let's see who else is here. Para ver un poquito más. Let's see. I got Bridge. Man, you guys been talking in here. It's making it difficult for me to find the new people interspaced. Anyhow, if I miss you, just send another message at the end of the thing, and I'll call you out because I know I didn't get. There's a lot in between that I know I missed. Anyhow, let's see what else I have to say here. Welcome back, Cotter. Huh? Cotter. You're going to have to explain that one for me, Dimitri OG. Okay, let me start looking at some of these messages now, and let's go ahead and talk. That's right, the whole damn county, and if I have anything to say, the whole damn country. That's my brother Cotter right there. He's not even discussing it as a possibility. He's doing it. And that is what I've seen going on throughout the progressive space. They're saying, we don't care what's going on. We are going to go move, and we're going to get the job done. John Carter, you know I love you, man. You really kick some ass all the time when it comes to the work you do out here. Thank you very much for that. People like you is what we need in this world doing the job. Okay, who else do I have here? Let me see if I have any messages that I really need to talk about. Breach says, I remember Wanda Sykes talking about when she worked in the NSA. She was a contracting specialist at the National Security Agency. She worked there for 5 years. It was her first job. She got herself a credit card, a high rate, LOL, and bought some stereo stuff. She brought in for questioning because she had debt. Now, if a low-level person like that brought in, what about Trump? Which is why he hid his taxes. He owes more than stereo equipment. He owes over $420 million. But to who? A person, a country, another? No, he's a gangster. He's a gangster. All those properties that he turned around that had no value, that certainly increased in value by 50%. Come on now. Okay, Hope says, go read Plato and you'll understand that society judges people by, hey, Hope Becker, I didn't call you out. I told you I'm going to miss people in between. Hope has an important message here that I'm going to read in its entirety. It's very important. Go read Plato and you'll understand that society judges people by the decisions they make given the situations they are in. This is called virtue ethics, and it's normally how leaders are judged. Donald Trump manipulates evangelicals and he torments the weak for good of the strong who take dominion. Okay, so he absolutely has no moral compass whatsoever about everyone. He just cares about well-being and excellence for the already rich, and he does it by taking the resources away from the masses. This is a shift of resources more massive than you'll ever see. So yes, he's evil and intellect isn't important. We haven't elected a sage, but even worse, we elected a monster. Hope, I am going to post that. With your permission, of course. So if you don't want me to post that, just drop a line there. But I'm going to post it and give it your tag you if I can. I don't do that unless I ask permission for things like that. So if you don't want me to, just drop a line and say, "Oh, no, Egberto, you're crazy for doing that." But no, because that is the message of the day, Hope. That is the message of the day. Okay. What else? Love you too, girl. Love you too, girl. All right, let's see what else is the message of the day. Well, actually, Hope, I'm sorry, guys. Hope is the message of the day, and Dimitri OG is the donor of the day. So we have two people of the day. Okay, let's see what else we got here that I want to rule on or want to check out. It's very important. I saw a good one that somebody wrote, and I wanted to get to it. Let's see. Para ver. Okay. I tell you what, if somebody had a good message out there that you wanted to everybody else to hear, both on air and elsewhere, put it in again. Oh, okay. Here it's. I think it was from Rudnin. When you owe money, you're willing to do favors for those you're indebted to, so they don't come to collect. Trump is transactional about everything. Means the Oval Office is for sale. The returns also show that Trump's empire garnered more revenue from abroad than previously known. Over the past 2 decades, for example, Trump earned at least 13 million in licensing deal for 2 towers in Turkey. A similar agreement in the Philippine capital of Manila was worth 9.3 million, and he made 5 million in botched hotel project in Azerbaijan. I remember that one distinctly, roughly twice that what it revealed in the ethics filing. Furthermore, Trump's 2017 paid hundreds of thousands of dollars more in taxes to foreign countries like Panama, my country, India, and the Philippines than did the U.S., where he paid the lowly sum of $750. You got that out of the Vox article, I imagine. That was a great find, great catch. Thank you so kindly for catching that one. I see some new messages came in. Dimitri says, over the past 15 years, Donald Trump has paid more. OG, why are you going to make me say that, Dimitri? I'm going to read it because it's true. This is what Dimitri OG just said. Over the past 15 years, Donald Trump has paid more for sex than he did in taxes. Damn. Come on, Dimitri, why did you make me read that? Why did you make me read that, Dimitri? Tell me why. Eric Trump in 24. Deborah Meyer just gave us a super chat. Thank you so kindly, Deborah. Hey, somebody else follow Deborah on YouTube, guys. Follow Deborah on YouTube. Deborah is making sure that progressive media can continue. We need more. We need more members. We need more everything. But you guys are giving me a laugh today. And talking about a laugh, I have a brother. He's actually, we grew up together. We did everything together. We played music together. And every morning he knows I work 16 hours a day, guys, 7 days a week. I'm in behind this studio, cutting stuff up and all of that. And he likes to make my day, right? So we grew up together playing music and all that good stuff. Before I go, I made a video and I said, hey, Lou, can I play this stuff when I have the time? Because I just love you, man. You always brighten my day with stuff to make sure that that I'm happy. And as much as we're working hard and going through a lot of stuff, I'm doing stuff. So he said, oh, come on, Egberto, if you want to do it, do it. So I'm going to play that right now because my brother Lou did this for me. I made a little homage to what he said. He sends me this stuff every single morning with a new message. Check this out.
Buenos dias, good morning, buenos dias, good morning. A mi hermano allá en Kingwood, Texas. El único Mr. Politics Done Right, Don Egberto Willis. Bendición, hermano, bendición en este día lunes para usted, tu familia, tus amigos, tus amistades. Tu esposa linda, tu hija Ashley y toda la gente allá en Kingwood. Así que vamos para adelante, hermano. Sigue con la noticia, poniendo todo enfrente, directamente, the politics done right. Así que cuídese, hermano. Vamos para adelante, hermano, como un soldado firme. Pausa y volvemos, Don Egberto. One love. Buenos días, buenos días.
Okay, I had to play that because, he said I get every morning. I know I'm going to have a message on my WhatsApp, right? And I know it's going to be there, and he's going to be there to kind of cheer me up. So it doesn't matter what mood I'm in. I get a message, hit that button, and he's right there. Okay, we are near the end of the show. Let's see if I have anything else quickly that I need to go over before. John Carter says Nixon got in trouble for paying $758 in taxes on $200K income during his presidency. Even the criminal Nixon did screw the IRS. Didn't screw. Did screw the IRS as bad as Trump. You guys are crazy. Carmen Halagahu, sorry to have missed you live. Next time. Sorry, Carmen, we're live. You didn't miss it live, Carmen. You're here. Thank you so kindly for being here. Let's see. LOL, his toupee is marvelous. For $70,000, that toupee better be good. Michael Rudnin says, now I could understand it. No, if I could. Actually, all he was saying is good morning. Bendiciones means like bless you, that sort of a thing. He was speaking English and Spanish. He was mixing it up. All right, let's see. I think we're done here. We're done here. Thank you guys for the super chat. Deborah Meyer, thank you for the super chat. Dimitri OG, thank you for the super chat. I don't think I saw any subscriptions over YouTube. I'll go look at the Patreon later on. But look, I couldn't do this without all of Burundi bee. Years ago, it was reported that bee colonies collapsed. CNN had an article about many birds have fled North America. Judging by whom I see working in hospitals, it seems I don't quite get that, but I assume there's some message there. Michael says Jimmy Carter had to sell his farm before taking the Oval Office. Trump has billions in property, and he's bilking from Secret Service and foreign dignitaries. No conflict of interest, eh? Bridge says, good show. Nice to see you laughing. Yeah, I mean, look. Roberto Luis, there's my brother who did it. Robert Luis. You know I love you, Roberto. Tú sabes que te amo, hombre. Tú sabes que tú eres mi hermano. But anyhow, folks, we got to get out of here. I want to thank you guys for being here with me. I could not do this without you. This show belongs to you. Like I said, and I'm probably going to make a little video that instead of me having to repeat these things every time that I play, but there are certain things that I want you guys to know. Anybody who needs to get a message out and need to do a video with me so that we can push this message out, that is what Politics Done Right is for. It is your show. Anybody who wants to email me messages that says, hey, we need to get this out, we need to do this, that's what Politics Done Right is here for. We are here to serve. And you don't get a lot of that today. You know, a lot of people are into this business to make names for themselves and all that BS. I'm doing another show. And the other show that I'm doing, the guy said, okay, Egberto, we're going to make you the executive producer of this new show that we're doing. You guys are going to see me play it here. And I said, hell no. And the reason why is this. I think a lot of these things need to go where it's collectives that are doing it. We have to get away from what has given us what we have now. What we have, the reason Donald Trump is a celebrity is because somebody has given Donald Trump the belief that somehow he has something over other people. In as much as he has no intellect, he has none of these things. But somehow he is of the belief that there's a reason for him to be over you and many others. We have to get away from that. We have to start thinking collective, collaboration. We have to start thinking that we are in a space where it is we, not me, not I, but we. I'm over by a minute. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.